Good morning. For our Entrepreneurship Development CIA, we've taken Deependar Goyal as our entrepreneur. I am Ayush R. Pachisia, 1911358.
I am Naga Sanjeev Prasad Yerramaneni 1911317.
And I'm Adithya 1911322.
Zomato is an application based restaurant aggregator and last mile food delivery service provider. Based in India, Zomato has its presence in more than 24 other countries like the United States, UAE, Australia, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Qatar, and many more. Deependar Goyal is one of the founders and CEO of Zomato. Deependar and Pankaj Chadda together founded Zomato in the year 2008. Deependar Goyal was born in Mujkar, a small village in Punjab. He was brought up in a small middle-class family. Both his parents were teachers. His mother was a botany teacher and his father was an English teacher. He graduated from IIT Delhi in the year 2005 with a master's in mathematics and computing. Later, he went on to accept a job at Bain and Company in the year 2006. Here, Deependar met Pankaj Chadda, also an IIT graduate. Pankaj did his graduation in mechanical engineering and he started to work at Bain and Company as a management consultant, and he continued to do so for 4 more years. During their time at the company, both Deependar and Pankaj noticed that there was a huge demand for restaurant menus online. People wanted to look at menus of restaurants before even visiting them physically. So Deependar and Pankaj started a website foodiebay.com, which was later renamed to zomato.com in the year 2011. Pankaj parted ways with the company in the year 2018 due to a shuffling in the top management. More recently, he is invested in a new startup, Mindhouse, which is an app-based mental wellness service provider.
So the idea behind Zomato, which was initially called Foodie was conceptualized while they were working at Bain and Company. In the company's cafeteria, they had noticed that a lot of people used to literally line up to check out menus to order food during the lunch hour. Obviously, this used to take up a large amount of everyone's time on a daily basis. That is when Deependar partnered with his old-time friend who also happened to be working there, Pankaj Chadda, to create a website and scan all the restaurant menus that were around the area and upload it on the intranet website for Bain employees. It was basically a Word document put up on the internet to simplify the restaurant or menu search for friends and colleagues. To their surprise, the website began to get a lot of traffic, far more than their imagination. That is when Deependar saw the opportunity for a potential successful business in front of them. And hence, capitalizing on the rising opportunity, they together formed foodiebay.com in 2008. Now for them, a new era had begun after the launch of foodiebay.com, and going by the initial reason to begin, neither of them had the slightest idea what this would turn out to become. In no time, with the sudden growth in popularity within the state, they were forced to add in more restaurants to the list by the end of the year, and even went on to expand to cities like Kolkata and Mumbai, followed by Bangalore and Pune in 2009 and 10, respectively. With just the two of them working on the venture, it became apparent that they needed help. Soon Deependar also roped in another IITian, Gunjan Patidar, they were friends with, to help them with their venture. Deependar used to work 24/7 from home and used to struggle very hard between his day job and this in order to justify his time to both. To add to that, because the idea was unique and they were unknown to the masses, they also found it immensely difficult to get the details of restaurants or other eateries as well. But somehow, for the first 2 years, they managed to run the website without any investment or professional team. But later, the need for a decent amount of funds along with expertise started to become of extreme importance. That is when luck played its role and sent an angel for them. They managed to get in touch with InfoEdge India, the parent company of Naukri.com group, in August 2011, who made the first ever investment in the company valued at US $1 million. This gave a huge boost to the morale and confidence of our superheroes, and in November they changed the name from foodiebay.com to zomato.com, keeping in mind their future plans to move outside the food genre and also to avoid possible conflict with eBay as their name had eBay in it as well. That is when Deependar, along with Pankaj, decided to quit their jobs at Bain and Company and divert their complete focus towards Zomato. This was a huge shocker to Deependar's parents, and they often nagged him about it until Zomato had become the success it is today.
Revenue models.
Anyways, now, with the demand from everywhere increasing, it was time for Zomato to grow and expand their reach and resources. That is when the company thought of bringing in a revenue model in place and monetizing on the growing conditions. This is also an attempt to reduce their reliance on external funds. Some of the revenue models that were initiated after this were restaurant advertising. This stream accounts for approximately 75% of their revenue, wherein they place ads of customer restaurants. Event advertising. In this stream, they earn revenue promoting events on Zomato for restaurants based advertisers, accounting for around 5% of the revenue. Event ticket sales. Here they take commissions on tickets sold through Zomato, which accounts for around 15% of Zomato's revenue. Consultancy services. Restaurant chains ask for advice on where to open their next outlet or branch. They research the same and charge consultancy fees for providing that information. Later, growth. Later, the company also launched mobile applications for iOS, Android, Windows, and BlackBerry devices, which was followed by an expansion into cities like Chennai, Hyderabad, and Ahmedabad. In the next some time, Zomato also launched a print version of the content of the website in collaboration with Citibank, named Citibank Zomato Restaurant Guide, and followed by that made the biggest move since initiation. Zomato began a worldwide spread of expansion overseas. In 2012, Zomato expanded to countries including UAE, Sri Lanka, Qatar, United Kingdom, the Philippines, South Africa, etc., and also moved further to Auckland, Wellington, and Hamilton, and New Zealand in 2013. In fiscal year 2011 to 12, Zomato Media Private Limited, the actual owner of the website, reported revenues worth rupees 2.04 crores, followed by around 11.38 crores in the fiscal year 2012 to 13. But at the same time, the fundraiser gave rise to the expansion of the company in Chile and most parts of Europe as well in the year 2014. It is true that the company did report losses in the initial phases of their growth, but almost all the companies in their initial stages go through such heavy losses. That is because they are at a stage where they are more concerned about generating strong and a loyal consumer base, and given the current investor mindset for companies like Zomato, are more inclined on strengthening their base of the company and making sure the company's reach is not limited to any boundaries for them to for them scalability is more important. Moving on, in March 2012, Zomato reported around 2.5 million visitors on its website, which massively increased to around 62.5 million in 2014. Its revenues rose from 30.06 crores to around 96.7 crores in the fiscal year 2015. Other than that, Zomato.com, which has now become Asia's largest restaurant guide, holds a list of over 1.4 million restaurants across 22 different countries. More recently, Zomato has also started with users' choice awards for the restaurants that are listed on the platform. With an employee base of over 7,800 people, the company has also expanded to various other verticals and also offers services like cashless payments, special offers on subscribing to Zomato Pro, etc. Currently, Zomato has over 80 million monthly active users on its platform. Talking about its funding, the company has a valuation of about $3.7 billion after the closure of its pre-IPO funding of about $500 million. Hong Kong-based Steadview Capital, Cora Investments, Fidelity, VY Capital, Bowwave, and Dragoneer Investment Group, which is a new entrant in the list of investors, have been known to participate in Zomato's latest funding round. The total amount of funds raised by Zomato comes to about $1.7 billion. Ant Financial holds around 20 to 22% stake in Zomato, and InfoEdge, the Indian company's earliest backer, about 31%. Zomato's co-founders Deependar Goyal and Pankaj Chadha together own around 14 to 15% stake.
Zomato has had a turbulent few years, but since 2017, things have been looking better. Zomato has been into many successful business tie-ups which has lifted its consumer base. Deependar decided to take the bumpy road a few times but has somehow managed to recover Zomato from the worst of situations. With Zomato Gold, Zomato provides free food and drinks on specific orders in select restaurants. This had come under a lot of criticism by the restaurant body NRAI. But Deependar decided not to scrap the program, only changing its terms to favor restaurants a little more. And he decided to give out a public statement regarding the same. Overall, his story is inspiring and, in many ways, also tells us how versatile an entrepreneur has to be to grow and succeed.